this glass tube and putting it into a preheated oven at 240 degrees for 1 hour. And that pretty much zaps all the water out, decarbs everything, so you can get good, accurate readings. From there, you weigh out 100 milligrams, give or take 5 milligrams, into this sample preparation tube. And then from here, I love this step, so I really wanted to show it. The way you finish your extract to make sure that you don't have all those little leafy bits with your extracted solution is you have your little extract plunger. We call it French press. Open up the tube, put the filter in, plunge down, twist and pull. Boom. And here you have your sample without all the particulates in it. Easy preparation. This was prepared by just weighing the 100 milligrams in there. There's an extraction solution, which is ethanol, and it's put onto this vortexer for 1 minute. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and run a CBD THC test. Click Run Test. Now it gives you options: strain, growth cycle, location, batch number. It gives you an option depending upon where you want to save the files. If you have a folder, you want to put it on the desktop, wherever. And it also has a section for notes. So if you want to say, use this fertilizer, or this was from this part of my plot, or whatever, all of that is an option. So I'm going to go in here, just quickly turn it around, put in a couple pieces of data, CBD decarb. In my test notes, I'll just call it sample 1.
We're testing some North Carolina hemp that Ken brought us.
Before I get too ahead of myself, there is you should be calibrating this instrument approximately every 24 hours. So if you use it and you turn it off and you walk away from it, you come back, turn it on. The calibration is done with this tiny little cuvette. You see it's orange. So that tears out our scopes. These are the scopes. This is the CBD scope. This is the THC scope. They are magnetically locked in there, and they have a little lens in here, kind of click in. And the calibration is simple as pointing the arrow on the top towards the scope you're trying to calibrate. Stick it in there. So for CBD, I'd point it towards the CBD, make sure it's all the way in. Click Calibrate CBD. It takes approximately 3 minutes. Then you take it out, twist it towards the THC, click it in there, close it, click the button, and it takes maybe 6-7 minutes to calibrate both the THC and CBD. Very straightforward.
If you would be moving this from farm to farm, you said every 24 hours, but if you would move it from this farm to that farm, would you recalibrate it at that point?
Absolutely, yeah. The calibration is so simple, and it doesn't really take that much time. It's just good practice to just calibrate it.
That goes along with the...
Anytime you're moving a device.
No additional cost for calibration, right?
Oh no, this is all you need right here. This little guy comes with the kit. This is all you need to calibrate this device. That and the software. So as long as you got software on a computer that runs Windows, and you have this, and this comes in the kit, as long as you have those pieces, you can calibrate it, and it doesn't cost you any extra money. So right here, at the beginning of the CBD test, it says you enter your sample mass. So I'm going to put in 100, so that's what I weighed out. Next step. And so the next step is to do our dilution. Grab our pipette. And so we have this CBD tube 1. I'm just going to pipette that in there. rinse it a couple times. Cap.
You fully push down on the plunger.
Yeah, there is a little bit of training to using this device, but it's no more difficult than just pushing up and down on a plunger.
Okay, but that gives you the right amount.
So this is a 100 microliter pipette. So it will only dispense 100 microliters. There's no way to adjust this pipette. It only does one number. Everything in this kit uses only 100 microliters. So it makes it very simple as far as you just move one unit in and out of things. So it's no more than that. And it makes everything a lot more simple, so you're not having to sit there and dial things down or dial things up, and oh, did I put it at the right level? This does it all for you.
The human error.
It takes a lot of the human error out of it, right? So as long as everything is working and you're using the right tips, you can just move seamlessly through this process. And so I've deleted my sample. Click next step. Now I'm going to grab a cuvette. And I grab a stir bar. Now do be careful, just because these stir bars are tiny, tiny, itty bitty.
It's magnetic.
It's a little magnetic stir bar. They are
Wow.
itty bitty, tiny, tiny, tiny little stir bars.
Never need that fat. You can't use that for fat finger.
And this is our background solution. So this is what everything's going to sit in while it does its reading.
You notice he pours the entire contents of these vials in. There's no measuring. He pours the whole entire tube.
The only measuring you're going to be doing, if you have to measure anything, it's going to be 1 unit of this into here, or 1 unit of this into here. So everything is very straightforward. It's either dump everything in the cuvette, or it's add 1 pipette into your cuvette, or add 1 pipette to your tube. So now that we have the background solution in there, going to add 1 unit of our diluted sample. Close the lid. Cap everything. Click next. And it's going to go ahead and start the timer and take a measurement. So this is that background reading I was talking about. So it's going to see what's in the solution, say what's fluorescing right now, and then say, okay, we're going to hold that over here. So that when we add the dye, when the dye is added, it's going to change the color of the solution depending upon how much CBD is in there. And it will subtract the difference of those 2 numbers in order to give us a percentage.
This part takes how long?
Well, it's going to be done in 1 second.
Are we there yet?
Okay, here we are. And so here's our dye, our fluorophore for this test.
Is there different dyes or all the same?
All of them are different dyes. They are all different dyes.
And why do you have different colored dyes? What is that?
Well, for this type of technology, you need a fluorophore, which is a specific compound that will only work with the compound you're interested in.
Gotcha.
And so there are things that are more broad spectrum, but that's not really of concern for this test. For this test, you want something that specifically will only fluoresce in the presence of CBD.
Right.
And for when you're doing your THC test, you only want something that will specifically fluoresce in the presence of THC. Because if it fluoresced with both of them, then you would just get one big peak, and it would say there's a lot of something here. I
Right.
can't tell you what.
Gotcha.
So
Would you need a different fluorescent for all the different cannabinoids?
correct.
Very
And
good
if you wanted to do a terpene profiling, you would essentially need the same thing.
Gotcha.
And so this this device is made to give you a snapshot. You know, if you want a full panel with pesticide testing and terpene testing and all that other stuff, like you would want to go and send that off to a lab that's doing HPLC, mass spec,
Right.
some other technology. That way they can give you more detailed data, but that's going to take time.
Right.
And this is within 20 minutes, you could have CBD THC data, boom, right there in your hands, ready to move on with your life, not having to wait for a lab to come through and tell you all this information.
Right.
So, should be wrapping up. Here we go. This is 1 minute 44 seconds. So here's a good stopping point if anyone has any questions.
For each test, how many of the little pipette vials do you use, or the?
What are these?
Yes, those.
So for each test, I would say, you know, there's approximately 3 to 4 active steps where you're adding or pipetting